everyone, and thank you for joining us today for Baxter Travel Webcast presentation of music and performance by PDM Tourism Group and Connection Tours. With me in the studio today, I have Ian Cowan and Samantha Cowan from Connection Tours. And phoning in from beautiful, sunny springtime Europe, we have Robin Diesenheimer and Andrea Bogner from PDM Tourism Group. With that, we will be starting momentarily. So once again, I would like to remind all participants that we do have a question and answer box located in the top left-hand side of your screen. So should you have any questions about itineraries, destinations, locations, or just want to say hello, by all means, please feel free to write that there, and we'll be answering them at the end of the presentation. Thanks again, and we'll be starting momentarily.
Hi there. Thank you, Tabitha, and thank you everyone who's joining us today. We're really excited to be here discussing with you all the upcoming opportunities within this very special, very meaningful interest in music and performance travel. For agents who have already been working extensively with this niche market, whether you've been traveling local choirs or schools, dance troupes, or professional groups, we hope that you take this presentation as a really great overview of all of the new opportunities available to you, especially in the coming years ahead. You'll find today's conversation beneficial for extra resource and inspiration with your current group bookings, and hopefully you can use that as a resource and support for prospecting future clients and growing your bookings and relationships over the next 2 years. For agents exploring this travel interest for the very first time, if you've just started or you're looking into branching out into this niche, we hope you take this presentation as a first step in creating and executing extraordinary performance group travel experiences for musicians and performers of any skill set, age, or specialty. There's really a wealth of resource and support right now encouraging music and travel from Canada. And as a travel professional, now more than ever, this is the niche travel interest that's really starting to pick up some speed. As you can see here, the reason we put this webinar together for you right now is because activity in the realm of Canadian music and performance is really starting to show a strong opportunity, especially for travel and tourism. Oh, sorry about that. The reason, as of October 2014, the Association of Canadian Choral Community, choralcanada.org, has announced they currently have over 40,000 professionally listed choral groups practicing and performing regularly across Canada. So having said that, you can imagine 40,000 choral communities. That's not including school groups or programs, Highland dancing, which is also especially massive across Canada. This is just the choral community. Look at how many members are already out there practicing and working in the industry. Furthermore, there's been some staggering investments in music education in Canada, and that's been really made in recent years. There's a report that came out in 2013 by Music Canada, and they called it the next big bang. And in their report, they cite a shocking growth of over $398 million flooding into Canada's music industry from outside investment. This started in 2011, this spike of investment for Canada. This and other significant growth in the industry triggered this Big Bang Commission, and it offered 17 recommendations for our government to use music's potential and fuel music education in Canada in an effort to therefore fuel our economy. It's our second biggest market. Harper responded to this commission really quickly. He gave $7.5 million to the Royal Conservatory of Music here in Toronto to expand into Canada and also New York State. And furthermore, just at the end of 2014, to keep their promise, the government and its affiliated associations invested over $154 million to bring the arts to Canada throughout the country. So there's been a lot of investment, and there's a lot of value right now, and this is why we bring this up, because on top of all this investment comes tremendous support and groups open to new educational opportunities. Already we have 24 official associations dedicated to Canadian music and growth, with an official organization in choral and music representing almost every province and territory. So this is supporting and connecting opportunities for music enthusiasts, and it's also growing the industry. On top of that, there's 44 for professional graduate schools specializing in choral, classical, performance arts, and musical, instrumental, as well. Stats Can reports an enrollment of 5% a year. This is enrollment of students in universities going specifically into music. 5% a year of growth, which is pretty big, especially considering the only other field in enrollment growing right now is business and administration studies. So this is the second biggest market. McGill University also mentioned that they reported higher enrollments, witnessing a 12% rise in enrollment rates for their music program just last year. So as you can see, there's higher enrollments, there's significant investments, large grants and opportunities come with that, and this is all tailored at Canadians and music travel. It's becoming available to our students to travel and grow in the name of music, and the travel community has to support it and keep up. But we'll talk about that a little later on in the presentation. Basically, I just want to let you know right away that there's never been a better time and a bigger potential to create exceptional music and performance group travel. It's an experience, and our goal by the end of this presentation is to grow our team of travel professionals to help us harness this new and quite large opportunity. So just before we begin, I just want to let everyone know that yes, this presentation will be recorded. So you will have it after our presentation is finished. We'll email you a copy of the slideshow right away. And at the end of the presentation, we'll also be sending you a couple surprises. One is our downloadable ebook. We also have 6 downloadable printable sample tour itineraries for you to use for future prospects. And you'll also receive the actual recording of the presentation in 2 weeks' time. So with that, I'd like to get started. I'd like to introduce our speakers, and we thank our directors so much for joining us today. We're really lucky to have them both here. We're going to start off with Ian Cowan, the CEO of Connection Tours. Here he is here. I'm going to let Ian start us off.
Hello, my name is Ian Cowan. I'm from Connection Tours, and I first of all would like to apologize for my nasal vocals here. This country is quite rife with the virus, isn't it? So for 28 years, we've been working with custom specialized travel and interested throughout Europe. And I work very much on one-on-one with the travel industry, and we do go direct. Everything that we do is direct with the hotels, with our organizers for the music events and venues, and also our escorts are used to working with very complex groups and Canadian. Excuse me, I'm sorry, we've just gone to the next screen here. The Canadian, the Canadian Tour Wholesale Operator. We are TICO registered. Probably, as everybody understands, with TICO, Travel Industry Council of Ontario, that means it doesn't matter which province you are working with. If you're working with a TICO registered tour operator, tour wholesaler, then basically we're under the we're a registrant of that, and everybody's secure once they work with us in Europe. We also work with Canadian dollar, which basically means that when we are putting together a program in Europe or anywhere else in the world for that matter, basically when we quote you, it would be a net quote in Canadian. And once we've given that quote, then that's a firm quote. We also organize all the other issues that concern any groups, such as performance insurance. This is a very complex issue because now in the UK and certain parts of Europe, if you have a group that's going over and they're performing at a venue, you also have to legally, with a lot of venues, insure the audience, and we can organize that for you. We also do bonding of equipment. I must say that quite a few years ago, I was dealing with a very large group coming from Alberta, and they assured me that they had covered all the customization, the customs and everything. Unfortunately, they hadn't bonded their equipment for, of course, for customs and excise, and we had to quickly put that in place. So we deal with all of that. We deal with all the bonding of the equipment. We do have 28 years experience behind us. We are your destination partner. Primarily what that means is that we start the ball rolling with you. I come out to visit you. We can also do the presentation for the group itself with you. We basically go over the logistics, we go over costings, we go over everything. And then, of course, we work hand in hand with our partner over in Europe. And that's why what I'd like to do is introduce you to Robin, who's our guest speaker. Robin's, as mentioned, he's in sunny Europe, sunny Austria right now. And he's just going to have a word with you about their role.
Hi, hello to everybody. Thanks for giving me the possibility to join this conference. I would like to say first that I'm very proud to be partner of Connection Tours, and I'm very, very happy to have the chance to speak to you all. So about me or my company, we are based in Austria and Switzerland, and we have not 28 years, we have only 21 years experience, but we are very focused tour operator or DMC over here. We have organized in the past years more than 300 performances, and already now during the Easter time last week we had 16 performances all over Europe. We partner with our venues, of course, directly. We support them and they support us. We are members of the International Federation of Choral Music. We are partner of European Mozart Ways, which gives us great possibilities for networking, for exchange concerts, for the audience, for everything. And of course, it's mentioned in my file over here, we are supported and awarded by the UNESCO, which made us very proud as they have looked at the programs we have delivered for our customers, and they think that they are very unique, as we are always trying to bring the people together and give them, besides of the general, let's say, hotel accommodations, we try to give you as much insight in Europe to come in touch with other peoples. And the UNESCO rewarded this for 2 years ago. So yeah, that's more or less my main thing. Thank you again for giving me the possibility to join you. So the next slide, I think Ian will go through the agenda of today. Hello?
Agenda? Okay, so our agenda today, we're going to go over a couple things with you. First off, we're going to go over your unique opportunities in performance and music travel, and especially what you can do internationally with music groups right now of any age, skill set, or interest. Second, we're going to talk about the accommodation options available to you across Europe. And third, we're going to talk about other featured destinations that are specifically interesting for music groups. The fourth thing we're going to show you is our sample itinerary, basically a brief overview of what we can do for you and what one of our custom itineraries will look like for a custom package. And fifth, we are going to take a look at the unique advantages and benefits of traveling with us specifically and how we can support you, what our benefits are. The last thing we're going to talk about is our helpful resources and guidance. There is a lot out there for travel agents to look upon for extra support and resource. And then finally, we'll talk about next steps, what you can do to secure groups, prospects, and hopefully meet with us in the future. And with that, I'm going to give it to Ian.
Okay, there's a lot of unique opportunities that we've done in the past, and hopefully we'll be certainly doing more in the future. I'm so sorry about my cold. I must apologize again. It's very nasal. If I can go through to the next one. Now, Robin and I have discussed the various performances that we can, and the most important thing for any music director is to be able to guarantee an audience. And I'm just going to let Robin explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, as Ian already said, we have done it quite often, and we know that if you travel around and you perform somewhere, nothing is more boring than being without an audience. You travel so many miles, the kids are looking forward to it, or the adults, to perform in nice churches and everything. So what we worked out is how can we guarantee an audience? And what we say, every travel group which goes through Connection Tours and us, we guarantee an audience in the ratio at least of 1 to 2. That means if I have 50 choir singers, we will have an audience of at least 100 people. And now very often comes the question, hey, come on, how can you guarantee an audience? And this is part what we worked out in the past years, that we are working closely to retirement homes, to schools and local communities. We invite them to come there, or even we provide sometimes buses. Very important for guaranteeing an audience is, of course, also the location. If you're outside of a town in a small village, it might be difficult to get tourists over there. So what are we doing there? We do it as an attraction of a small city, and they are looking forward. I mean, you have to think it's not everybody has seen a Canadian choir singing in their town. So what we do, we promote it through the community of the town. We work together with the mayors, we get invitations, and normally it's really a huge thing for the whole city. Second point would be choose a location in downtown. Think about staying in Vienna, perform at the St. Stephen's Cathedral, then we promote it directly on the spot, and it is guaranteed that the church is more or less full, because there are so many tourists around who look forward to hear something, because only watching the church is one side, but having the church together with the choir is fantastic. We are working with non-profit organization, Caritas, Red Cross, and what we do sometimes is that we say, okay, let's sell tickets, and the money which we get through the tickets goes as a donation to those organizations. Of course, we have production of flyers and posters for every single concert and everywhere all over Europe. So these are the points how we can guarantee an audience.
Perfect. Thanks, Robin. We're going on to the next slide now, advocating the social good. I'm going to pass this back over to Ian to give us a little bit more information about what charitable performances and music therapy we can provide.
There are quite a few venues throughout Europe who would embrace the opportunity of any choral group and any performing group whatsoever. So therefore, what we would do is we just did a short while ago in east of last year, we managed to enjoy a retirement home and to see these people and to see the reception the choral group had was quite phenomenal. And then we ended it by going to a local school in London, and these are very, very young children who were the audience, and to see the paradox of enjoyment was incredible. So singing the local communities and working towards for donations, etc., is a very, very strong issue for performance groups to visit. It gives them a reason. These performances are very, very important to the communities. They're also very, very important to the performers. These are memories that they're going to have for the rest of their lives.
Very good point to add. Very good point to add. Robin, perhaps you can explain our next slide with us, what our flash performances are. This is really a personal favorite, but Robin, you have some examples of what we can do with groups in kind of surprise performance setups. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. Happy to do that, because I think it's one of the most impressive things during such a program. I have to start a little bit to explain it, that once you travel and you come over to Europe, normally a program looks like an 8-10 day program, and we have 2, 3, 4 performances within those days, of course, rehearsals and everything. But very often what we do is, of course, if it's wished by the group, that when we visit famous places like, for example, the Schönbrunn Palace, I mean, 100,000 of tourists are going there and they're watching this, the castle. And then, sorry, by the way, for my English, it's for sure not perfect, but I'm trying my best.
It's good, Robin. You're doing great.
Thank you. So what we do, we ask the choir director or the director of the group, do you want to make a surprise performance? So we walk into Schönbrunn and then we step together and we start a singing performance. And it's unbelievable how normally the choir reacts, because they are happy, they are singing in the sunshine, and around the people are starting to watch around and what's going on here, what is this? And then it's our choir who sings there, and they perform normally for 10, 15, 20 minutes, how long they want to perform. And the people are around and they get an applause from people who never thought to meet this group. So, and those are the surprising effects where you come in touch with also people from different countries, because you will have Czech people who are watching you, you will have Austrians, you will have Italians, you will have French people. And all these nations together makes a fantastic atmosphere. And it's not only in Vienna possible. Of course, you can do it, for example, Rome in front of the cathedral. I mean, millions of people are always there. And when you stay there, nobody can forbid it, can say, no, you're not allowed to sing, because people love if people are singing. So they can sing there, or we go to Montmartre, or there are so many places. Or we have in Austria, for example, we have also very typical restaurants. They're called Heurigen. And sometimes we go with our group there for dinner, and there are about 200-300 people within those restaurants, and it's allowed to sing over there. So what we do, they have dinner, and after dinner, we perform with 2-3 songs. And again, you have all the other guests, which is like a huge surprise. And it's always something what you take back home as a memory, which you will never forget.
Absolutely, absolutely. If there's one thing I can add to this, and I'm sorry, I know I'm interjecting into Ian, but I feel because he's so sick, I should help out. When I think flash mob performance, the first word that comes to my mind as someone who's been on tour and seeing these for the first time is magic. I mean, you have these students, coming into a tourist attraction, and just everyone around you stops. The photo behind that you can see here on the slide, this photo is from a flash mob classical concert that took place in front of the Place de Nations in Geneva. I hope everyone liked my accent there. I worked all day on that. But this is the Young Symphonic Orchestra of the U.S., and they did the Ode to Joy and the European Anthem at an event organized by the EU delegation on the United Nations Commemoration Day, and they just stopped and did it right in front of the Geneva mission. It was a really, really fantastic idea, and I also want to add for flash mob performances that it is very important that you check with the tourist attraction, and definitely let us do that, because we have such strong relationships with tourist attractions. But it is important that we get permission for specific places like Stonehenge, for example, to do something like that. So that's just a really important remark for agents. But we'll move on. The next slide is international participation. Robin, I'm going to leave this to you again, if you can give us some more examples of what participation Canadian performance groups can get on in.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you have the possibility on one side that you perform yourself, but very often choir director would like to perform with other choirs worldwide together. And there are a lot of different festivals where you can sign up. And of course, also here, the sign up has to be done in a certain way, which is not always easy to do it at your own, especially as they only provide for a 3-day festival, for example. And afterwards, you make your own program. But examples could be the World Choir Games, which happened last year in Riga, which they happen, I think, every 2 years. And we have signed up 3 choir groups over there. Then you have the possibility of the World Peace Choral Festival, or even the Summa Cum Laude, which happens every year in July in Vienna. Then there are many small festivals which are organized by different organizations. It could be also Interculture, for example. They provide festival possibilities whole over Europe, and they are smaller ones, because if you think about the Summa Cum Laude, it's about 2,000 people. About the World Choir Games, I think there were about 4,000 people over there. But then you have a lot of smaller festivals where only 5 to 10 choirs are joining it. Or what we also do, or where we can join it, are smaller festivals, community festivals, where we say, okay, there is a huge attraction. It's the choir coming from Canada, and you can be sure that this choir from Canada, or for example from Canada, is the attraction of the day. So there are European-wide a lot of possibilities, and you can even choose if you want to do it like you want to join it. In order you sing and then everybody's happy, or you can also join festivals where you have a competition where the best choir gets awarded. But this is up to you, whatever you are looking for, and whenever you travel. And afterwards we can look afterwards which festival would be the best possibility.
Wonderful. Thank you, Robin. Thanks so much for that. And if anyone has and wants some inspiration as to what kind of festivals and competitions are coming up in the next 2 or 3 years, there's plenty of resources. We'll go over that at the end of the presentation as to where you can find that. Moving on, performance exchanges is another really big part of our product offering. There's a lot of exchanges that we do, but again, I do want to pass this over to Robin because he knows a lot about what we can do and what opportunities are available. Robin, would you able to?
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the possibility to talk so much. I like talking. So, what we always say is, beside of the performance, beside of seeing the big attractions, what we also want to provide is that the groups who are traveling, coming from so far, that they also get unique impressions from academies, for example, like the Mozarteum in Salzburg or the Academy of Vienna Boys Choir, or we can continue to Conservatorium Monteverdi Bolzano, or Private School of Music and Art of Mako in Hungary, or Nice in France. What we try is that we provide by the way, I'm always speaking about choir because it's easier to say choir than orchestra. This is also valid for orchestras and for big bands. So we can speak about the big bands, orchestra, and choirs. But what we try is to give them also a view how people over here in Europe get taught to study music, and to give those feelings and this idea of studying in Europe, that your group can go back home and say, hey, I have learned this and this also from the European schools.
Absolutely. And another really big point to add to performance exchanges is that, we do try to work at a grassroots level where we're working direct with local communities and local schools. So even if it's a performance group or a choral group or even a school group at a really young age, it's such a fantastic opportunity to meet students that are your age and learning the same thing, even though you're in completely different countries. It's really, really great opportunity and a really great experience for those who are studying music to know that they're not alone, that there's others like them studying exactly the same thing thousands of miles away. For me, that's a really, really exciting point. Moving on, special events is again a really magical performance, and we like to take advantage of what special events are happening in the destinations we travel to, and we like to implement performances into these special events. Again, Robin has some really great examples. Robin.
Yes, for example, I know the big advantage of special events is, as we started the whole thing with the audience, that on special events you always have a great audience over there. And again, it's something, you are the star on the stage because there are thousands of people. For example, the Christmas market in Vienna, I know that wintertime is not your main travel season, but the Christmas market, for example, we have one big, huge festival in Cologne every year, and you perform at the Christmas market, and you are performing with Christmas songs, and it's all the atmosphere. When it's snowing, you stay there, it's organized, and you have the people and the applause of 1,000 people, because there are every night 1,000 people, and an attraction like a choir who sings Christmas songs, especially during this period, is something huge. Or what we also did is during the Olympics in London, we had about, I think, if I remember right, about 2,500, it was about 25 or 30 choirs who performed at the side events of the Olympics. Because during the Olympics, whole London, every single restaurant mainly was connected to the Olympics. So what we had on the streets certain spots where our choirs were singing. And again, you have the people walking around, you are part of the Olympic Games or the Fistolonia in Italy and Spain. And there were so many events ongoing throughout the whole year where we can always include a choir. We cannot include, this is something important, you cannot make it happen during the Olympics. It's a little bit easier, but on the normal special events, you cannot sell this to 15 choirs because we don't get the time and the spot, because it's only allowed to perform for one choir because it's boring if the whole day is the Christmas song at the Christmas market. So those are things which we can organize and which makes, again, a more authentic feeling to be part of the country where you are at the moment.
Absolutely. Thanks, Robin. Moving on, and we're still on opportunities. I know we only have a half an hour left until everyone is going back to work, so we'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. I'll pick up on workshops and private mentorship. This is another really incredible opportunity, really, for performance groups and choral directors, instrumentals, and dance troupes to really work with the local community in these, musically revered destinations. My favorite example, is working with the Morley College of Center of Young Musicians in central London. They've been great with providing us with private instructors, and we book venue space and have them work one-on-one with the students based on their curriculum. Robin, you have 3 examples of other types of workshops we can do. Do you mind quickly going over those with us?
Yeah, very quickly. We have the Conservatorium in Nice, for example, or the Bruckner Institute in Vienna, different universities of music. And only quick add is, like, Austria is not that famous for many things, but for music, for example, we are famous, and there are many students coming throughout the whole year to study music over here. And what we can organize, for example, could be even a member of the Vienna Philharmonics who could speak to your group or give private lessons. But we can arrange it whole over Europe, everywhere, with music universities or whatever you are looking for.
And this is huge. I mean, for Canadian enrollment, look at our numbers, look at the growth of students really harnessing music education in Canada. Opportunities like this further their resume and also kind of gives them some insight on instruction outside of our country, especially in Vienna, where Robin's correct, it's so famous for music and composition. It really is a fantastic place to start. Furthermore, there is an opportunity for students who are looking to study music outside of Canada. We can show them universities and local conservatories in the destinations we touch to kind of give them a familiarity with where they might go in the next couple of years, if that's where their career takes them. So there is a lot of opportunity there. Moving on, I just very quickly going to go over these 2 points, and Robin will know so much about this because, of course, they're headquartered in Austria and Switzerland, and they work with historical buildings and churches. There's a wide variety of venues. Robin, I'm going to let you go through this slide and the next one with the concert halls. Just give us a little bit of background. What kind of venues can we use for our performances?
Yeah, Sam, of course. I will do this, and I will do it very quickly, perhaps only as an introduction. What we do is we base the choice of the buildings and churches depending on what the choir is asking for. As an example, what we do, the most famous places are for sure is the Berlin Dome in Berlin, the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, or the St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna, or even the St. Mark's Cathedral in Rome and the Votive Church in Vienna. So we have contact to more than 100 different churches all out through Europe. The other point would be the international concert halls, because sometimes you have also quite famous orchestras who would prefer, instead of a church, to use bigger venues, where I can say, like, whom we worked with, for example, is the Residence in Salzburg, where every year in July, there is the huge music festival ongoing, but they accept also our sign-ups. We have the Cartoon Gallery in London. We have the Helsinki Music Center, House of Hopner Tallinn, or we worked in Monaco in the Fürst René Auditorium. So this is only a quick insight. Once you have a request, then once you go to Connection Tours and us, we will work out a proposal for you where everything is fit in. Absolutely. And it also goes to show this variety gives you the spectrum
spectrum of which we can work. There's a huge scope here. You know, if you have a performance group who really wants to stay local, there's local churches and community groups that we know, and we know who to reach out to if you want something that's more that's smaller and more grassroots. And on the other side of the spectrum, we can do something as big as the Notre Dame or the Salzburg Residence. These are big concert halls and venues that we have available to us as well. So as you can see, we've got a great opportunity. Furthermore, on the next slide here, we've got local music events and concerts. Obviously, these are great opportunities for students just to enjoy a performance outside of their country. I mean, there's so many fantastic ones. For example, in the background here, you see the Edinburgh Military Tattoo, which is one of my favorite festivals outside of Canada. Robin, you have a couple more as well that you want to go over.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everything is possible. That's what I can say. If you want to go to the Milan Opera and you want to see an opera, or if you want to go to the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra or the Edinburgh Tattoo, everything is, we will always try to arrange everything. So if a group wants to see such points, we have to look of time of the year, what is ongoing, what is interesting, and then we can provide tickets as we work together with a lot of different ticket agencies throughout Europe. And sometimes you need those tickets agencies because for the Scala of Milan, for example, it's not easy to get 100 tickets on the spot. Yes, 1-2 tickets, but to get 100 tickets for a whole choir group is not that easy. But till now, I can only tell you, Sam, that it always worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so exciting to be able to go to like a West End performance in London, or, I mean, even something, again, grassroots community groups. For example, in Wales, they have so many local choirs and communities dedicated to music and choral song. Even going to see one of those small performances is really quite worth it. Moving on, we're going to go super quickly through this, but I really wanted to bring up this point. This is another one of my favorite points, is just granted access behind the scenes. In this picture, you can see this is a group exploring the backstage of the Vienna Orchestra. Robin, do you have any other examples of what they can do behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, what we do is we organize private visits of opera houses behind the scenes. We join rehearsal sessions of orchestras where only our group is in there, or even within the universities that you get behind the scenes, the whole schedule, how do you study music over here? So there are a lot of different possibilities, but it would be a never-ending story if we start to explain everything throughout Europe. But I think those are the points. Once we see an itinerary where we put some suggestions in there, of course, the group has to decide if they want to do it or not.
Exactly. All right, we're going to move really quickly into our featured destinations, just to give you an idea of what destinations are perfect for music and performance. Ian, hopefully you're feeling better. Would you like to get back to this? No, he says no. He's drinking his tea in the corner. Here, I'm going to give it over to him because he's been working with all these destinations extensively and beyond. So let's ask him real quick if he can give us some ideas.
I have lots of ideas and lots of destinations. We cover all of Europe, of course, UK, which is where I'm from, and we, of course, Spain, Italy, Germany, throughout the whole of Europe, and also some very classical Italian programs that we are able to offer. We also cover Southeast Asia and also Central America, and we've been very successful there. Any destination globally we'll be able to assist you with. So now, I also want to go over, and I'll invite Robin to come in on this too, because it's not just the venue, it's not just the performance, it's not just getting them on the aircraft, it's where they're going to be staying. And what we'd like to do is offer them something really, really unique. Now, this can be for any budget, anything from a homestay, for instance, castle stays. You can basically youth hotels, youth hostels. I don't know if many of you have had many youth groups in the past couple of years, but in my 28 odd years of doing this has changed dramatically. Now you have en-suite youth hotels and youth hostels, which have been quite phenomenal. And also the actual hostels themselves, they're not just stuck up there like military dorms. A lot of them are basically old hostels, old monasteries, and castles and so forth. So really, really unique, really interesting. And of course, if it's during the non-term time, some of the best venues are actually in the universities. And also these universities, quite a few of them obviously are en suite. I was in Cambridge just a few months ago, and I stayed at a university which basically was almost dorm style, but now they've got these amazing en suite premises. So,
and the same.
And you can, Robin, you can jump in now.
I only wanted to say quickly, for example, what is also very, very nice are the monasteries in Italy, because they opened it in the year 2000 when they opened to the public, which was before 2000. It didn't do anything. They were not, I think it's called refurbished. And in 2000, all the churches got a lot of money from the government to refurbish the monasteries. And you always have to think about it. Those monasteries, I have one especially in mind in Naples, for example, they have always the nicest spots because the church owns the nicest spots, and now it's open. Of course, it's still a very basic accommodation, but new. It's not nothing in there with a refrigerator or something, but the nice beds, nice views, and it's such a unique experience to stay there. And sometimes you are even lucky that still there are some monks or nuns living in there, and you can order also kind of home food. So you get feed by the nuns or the monks, and you eat typical Italian food. So I like in Italy the monasteries very, very much.
Excellent. Okay, the girls here are giving me all these hand signals, which means I think we have to keep on going very, very quickly. What I'm going to do is just briefly go over the itinerary.
Oh, sorry.
This is just a sample. This is just a sample of an itinerary, but this is how the setup is going to be. This is what you can pass on to your client. It's very, very brief, very informative, but we are very, very clear, very transparent with a map, with the visuals, with the day-to-day activities. It can be draft format, it can be extensive format, and also very, very important, you can have all the inclusions. This leaves no guessing at all involved. This is a very, very brief sample itinerary. It can be for anywhere. It's just an example. But this is how we format it for you. So we take that task for you, and we're ready for presentation, and you, of course, can label it yourself. Now, I'm going to pass this along to Samantha, telling you all the unique advantages of traveling with us, because she's much smarter than me.
I'm making sure that he writes that on a piece of paper so I can frame it for later, but that's another point. I will go over this really, really quickly. Again, this slideshow is going to be sent to your email afterwards. If you have any questions for us, just let us know. All of our contact information will be in that email. So first off, the unique advantages of traveling with us. This is basically the advantages and benefits that I feel you have as an agent working with us, or at least grabbing support and resource from us as you continue on in this music and performance journey. First of all, we're one partner for the whole of Europe. We're your direct contact, and that means that for you, this is a one-stop shop. You know, you have one trustworthy contact, no risk of miscommunication, so that you can run smoothly without any interruption. We hold direct partnerships with all of our destinations. We're partners with Visit Britain, Visit England, Visit Scotland, and Visit Wales, as well as Visit Ireland. And this means that performances are organized, and they're organized at a grassroots level, like I said, and that effectively saves you cost at the end of the day. So I think that's a really important point to start off with. Second, every itinerary that we make, even though you saw that sample itinerary, is custom designed by our expert team. That means Ian and his team that have been with him for 28 years. And what we do is we work with you first. We work to find out what the interest is, what the skill set is, with what the age is, and we work with you to actually design a tour and an itinerary off of that. On top of this, we actually have, with the help of PDM Tourism Group, in-house music specialists. And what they do is they will review, design, and approve our itineraries that we make for you. Robin, can you quickly introduce David and Christian for us? Because they're fantastic.
They are fantastic. I have to say that they are fantastic, even if they are not anymore in the office, because over here it's now close to 8. So David and Christian are real music specialists. That means if you have a choir director, he wants to travel around, he will have a huge amount of music question, which I have to say, honestly, I couldn't answer, because they need to know how big the stage is, how many steps they have, which kind of headsets or whatever they need. There are so specific questions which only a music specialist can answer. So this is the advantage. And we have one, Davide, he is from Italy. He studied at the Conservatorium in Bozen. And then we have Christian Choron, who is organizing choirs and orchestras since 10 years. And both are, of course, playing instruments, and so on. But the main thing is that with connection tours, you have the possibility that even the choir director, if he has specific question, they will get a partner who can talk with. Because the traveling part is one part, but those music questions or the repertoire which they are allowed to sing, for example, in a church, is very specific. Or if they want to make an exchange choir, in order to bring the exchange choir and your choir together, this needs a music specialist in between, and that is what Connection Tours and us can provide.
Absolutely. And for you agents listening, and for our listeners in general, this is a valuable point to take, because we are in the travel industry. We know travel, and music is such a serious subject. And as it grows and as investment builds and builds in Canada, we, at the end of the day, know the logistics of travel and not music. So it's great to have those partners with us to review all of our steps, make sure voltage is the same, all stuff like that. So that's really, really important. Moving on really quickly, now I'm getting the hand gestures from Ian, but we have long-standing partnerships, and this means for you flexibility. This means that you can choose a range of venues, accommodations, transfers, or experiences, as well as regular tourist attractions. You can add anything or take as much out of the itinerary as you want, which I think is a great benefit. Furthermore, we're trained and we're full-time. Which I personally see in a lot of, I see value in, because our tour managers and escorts are working on your itinerary. And if you have a particularly complex program or performance group, our tour managers and escorts who have worked on the itinerary will go with your group. We will escort you if needed. And it's important to note that we do have 28 years experience. We don't have any part-time staff who will be escorting you. It is our director or our team that helps you with the itinerary. Furthermore, there's quality assurance in every program that we provide. We have daily reporting, and we also do some recording and on-site staff close by. Robin, can you give us some examples on that? Very quickly.
Sorry, I didn't hear you right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? I'll just quickly say that quality checks are yearly held, and PDM Tourism Group and their staff are nearby in all of the destinations that we work with. And I think this is just an important point to make
Yes.
for agents. Yeah,
sorry, I was offline for a second, and I don't know why, but I'm now back to you, and I heard everything. Yes, the daily reporting and quality checks. Yes, this is a huge part and an important part, even to remain with all the partners we have. So what we do is on one side, we go through whole Europe every year, and we make quality checks on the hotels. We visit every single hotel we are using. We are visiting all restaurants which we are using. We have our tour guides coming in for a training session every year, all the tour guides. And for our partners overseas, what we do is a daily reporting. That means that the tour guides, they have to send us every evening a report, what was ongoing, in order that we can provide to our travel agencies a daily report, what happened. And in case something bigger happens, we even inform within seconds, because we say the most important part is that you are on the other side of the world, that you always are aware of what is ongoing, so that once you receive a call, if it's from a parent, for example, and they ask you, hey, why did they come late yesterday? You can say, yes, they're stuck in traffic for 2 hours, and this was the reason why we had to postpone the dinner. And
absolutely.
One other important thing is coming back, also putting in our music specialists, is that Our music specialists with bigger groups, if there are a bigger concert, our music specialists will be always on the spot. They travel with the groups, and if we know, okay, your group has tomorrow a concert in Nice, we fly them to Nice, and they are close to the director in order to get everything set up in the right way.
Exactly. Moving on, site inspections are not only encouraged for our side of the coin here, but also for directors and choral groups, also head organizers. We encourage you to come and see the tour that you want to do at least a year ahead of time, to take a look at what venues you can use, and et cetera. I think it's really important for performance directors to come back happy from an extra trip of exploring their passion, and coming back with the commitment to take the business to their performance groups. Furthermore, there's support where it's needed when you're performing, which I think is really huge. If you're traveling all that way, with stage sizes and audio visual recordings, instrumental rentals, the baggage requirements, there's so much you have to think about. We take care of all of that for you. We make sure that you have everything that you need, and that the right voltage is going to work for your performance. We also follow it on social media. So if families want to watch your performance while you're international, that is absolutely encouraged, and they can follow us on a Facebook group, however you want to do it. Again, everything's custom made with you in mind. Advantages in pricing is the last really important advantage that I think everyone should take into consideration when planning a performance group abroad. We want to emphasize with you that it is a custom itinerary. Everything's tailor-made, which means that you can put in and put out what you need to make your budget work. And I think that's another really important point. So that's it. Those are our advantages. Again, if you have any questions about that, you can just let us know. Quickly, I'm going to go through what resources are available for agents outside of what we can do for you, because there really is a lot of support in Canada. First of all, there's so many associations at home, like your provincial choral association, there's band associations, there's federal, there's provincial, there's community-based. These associations are a really great first place for you to start when you're prospecting clients. Websites like the Choral Canadian Association is a great place to start building resources, and there's great directories and news that you can catch up on there. Furthermore, there's international music associations. For example, like what I have on the screen here, this is the International Music Council. It's a really great way of finding what competitions and festivals are out there that are going to work best for you. You can kind of find the category through the discipline, choose a city in the country, as well as the time frame. I thought this is a really great tool for travel agents to inspire. Music educator associations are really important in Canada. There are several. There's a Music Educators Association, there's a Federal Music Association, then there's an Educators Music Association per province. So as you can see, I put the Ontario Music one right there. Now, for agents, this means that you don't have to sell directly to schools. Music educators have their own associations and their own support set up for you to contact them directly. And myself, speaking with the CMEA, they've been really great with welcoming us with open arms. They really want to start harnessing travel opportunities like this. Furthermore, music institutions, there's one right here in Toronto, the Royal Conservatory of Music. On their website, they have a teacher directory, and you can find what skill set discipline you're looking for, enter your postal code, and how many kilometers away from your office they are, and you can find out their information really quickly to contact them directly and get something started. So it's very easy to sell and to prospect these types of clients and organizations. Furthermore, fiddle groups and Highland dance resources, huge in Canada, huge. There are over 650 fiddle groups listed in Canada competing in Highland dance. 40% of these fiddle groups are brand new. So just goes to show how much investment's been put into this and what it really means for us. There's also a bunch of schools. There's the Inverglen Scottish Dance School in Abbotsford and Vancouver. Nova Scotia is also huge for their Highland dance, and they have a massive association to help you find and work with these groups. Lastly, grants and travel support. This is huge. There are several grant and bursary opportunities for Canadians pursuing music as a career to support the musical performance and personal growth. Most notably, the Canadian Council of Arts provides grants for individuals who travel more than 800 kilometers outside of their home region to receive mentorship, private instruction, workshops, periods of self-directed study, community-acquired knowledge, or any combination of the above. This works for us. If there is a performance group out there and they are struggling with individual students who want to build a career in music, these grants will support us with their travel. I provided a bunch of links for you there to kind of learn more information about that and how we can use those to our advantage. Lastly, our website will have all this information. So all the quick steps we went over, the associations that are listed, the festivals and competitions that are coming up in the next couple of years, our music ebook, which will give you some more ideas of what advantages you have with working with us, and our 6 sampled itineraries are all on this website. If you go to www.connectiontours.ca/music, that's where you'll find our music page with all of our helpful resources there. Again, if you have any questions, you can let us know. And lastly, additional support. Reach out to a fellow agent, because there are many agents out there who have been doing this for an extensive period of time. You know, music and performances travel is not a new niche, but there is so much advice and support. We personally have been working with many really, really great companies and individual independent travel agents. And Ian especially has been working with agents for 28 years. We do have some great agents who have come forward and offered to provide some information for you if you do require references or advice from that side. Sorry, what do you say? What's that? Oh, okay. I'll let him go over that really quickly. Ian just has something really quickly to add, and then we'll finish up with our next steps and do some question and answer.
Very briefly, one of the big sellers, of course, in the past year and considering the next few years are anything for the battlefield commemoration issues for World War I, World War II. And of course, a lot of military groups, as well as bands, performances, they want to attend. And keep in mind the 100th anniversary of Somme and also the huge 100th anniversary of Vimy Ridge in April 2017, that any local band will want to attend.
That's a really, really, really important point to add. I'm sorry I didn't bring that up earlier. You can go to www.thebattlefieldtours.com, and we'll include that in your email as well after the presentation if you want more information on Battlefield Canadian outbound in the next 2 years, well, up to 2018, I would imagine. So moving on, that's it for us. Music and travel is a special product, and even though it can be challenging, it's worth every moment you spend on it. And we really hope you do contact us in the future to gain some more support and some more advice about this very special interest niche. Next up, the next steps you need to know, we're going to be sending this slideshow to your inbox immediately. You can also download your 6 print-ready sample itineraries. You can go to www.connectiontours.ca/webinar_surprise. It's a hidden link. We'll send it to your email so that you have that as well. That link is just for you, and it's a great way to download those sample itineraries if you want kind of a better idea of what you can do. Furthermore, the webinar recording will be sent out to your inbox in 2 weeks' time, and you can always visit or subscribe to our mailing list at www.connectiontours.ca to get updates from us about future webinars, FAMs, and other information that we have going on in the next few years. Also, we are making in-house appointments from May 18th to July 17th. Ian and his team are going to be traveling from the Maritimes across into Vancouver. So if you live in any of these cities or you live anywhere in between the Maritimes or Vancouver and you'd like us to visit your office directly, we certainly can. Oh yeah, Ian mentioned Vancouver Island. So even if you live there, we are definitely coming out and we are taking appointments. So again, in that email we send you, you'll have all that information. Well, that's it for us. I'll hand this back to Tabitha.
Once again, we would like to thank you all for joining us today, and I'd like to thank Ian Cowan, Samantha Cowan, Robin Diesenhammer, and Andrea Bogner for joining us this afternoon, as well as all of you out there listening. At this time, I would like to open the floor to the question and answer period that is located on the top left-hand side of your screen. Should you have any questions, please feel free to write them now. Our presenters will be happy to answer them, and you can just write those in the Q&A. Should you have any questions that occur after this webinar, please feel free to email the moderator. That's T as in Tango, F as in Fish, BRADLEY @baxter.net, and the moderator will be happy to assist you in directing those to the appropriate responder. I do see that we have a question. Great job, Sam, says Michelle McKenzie. A lot of information and well presented. Excited to get a hold of past groups with new info. Well, thank you for writing that in, Michelle. We're very happy to, if you can hear them in the background. They do say thank you, and thank you all for joining us today. If you have any further questions, please feel free to write those in the top left hand. If not, we would like to thank you once again and look forward to having you join us on our future webinars with Connection Tours. Once again, thanks and have a fantastic afternoon.